So, one day last spring, as spring was warming to summer, I was cooking eggs in a frying pan when I see 5 of those itty bitty little ants go marching across the tile floor in my kitchen, single file, headed directly for my trash, where fresh coffee grounds and last night's scraps abound. And since I'm a guy, well, I just stepped on them. End of story. Only Lois, that chick I had hanging around back then, wanted to start in with me about how I was a cruel-hearted, merciless bastard of a human beast. Because I just squished a bunch of those itty-bitty little ants. You know, the ones that are about this big. And Lois was having herself a hissy fit over it. So I turned to her and I says, Lois, I says, pipe down, would you? Don't you understand? Those were scouts. If even one of them were to have made it back to the ant colony, well, I'd have me a frickin' ant caravan a mile long. Coming and going. Going and coming. From my little trash can here in the kitchen, all the way back to where they came from. To which Lois replied, you goddamn bastard of a beastly man! How could you? How could you? They were only doing their jobs. They were just little ones. To which I replied, I'm trying to send a message back to where they came from. Lois, dear, that none who venture here ever, and I mean ever, return alive. Now, meanwhile, back at the ant colony, Staff Sergeant York, he is in a position of a supervisor at the entrance to the ant colony. He was getting to be too old to overseer. He stands at the entrance to the ant colony and he clocks out all the scouts as they go out to scout. Yeah, 12-hour shifts. And Staff Sergeant York is quite distraught, as well he should be. Scout Team Victor, with Abernathy, Jones, Williams, Wilson, and Cordova, are way overdue. Way overdue. While the other ants are returning on time, according to schedule. And the night is falling. And of every scout team that is returning, Staff Sergeant York inquires. Page, Swanson, McDermott, have you seen my boys? Abernathy, Jones, Williams, Wilson, and Cordova? They all reply, no, Staff Sergeant, we haven't. McDermott pipes up. They're not in our sector, Staff Sergeant. Very well, carry on, says Staff Sergeant York. But he mutters under his breath, where could they be? You're not worried, are you, Sarge? Asks Page, leader of Scout Team Scrupulous. Now, don't worry, they'll turn up, says Staff Sergeant York, as he looks yet again at his watch. Oh, you didn't know that about ants, did you? Yeah, they wear watches. So in order to be nonchalant about it, Staff Sergeant York remarks, say, why don't you guys go chow down? Get yourselves some shut-eye. Which is impossible for an ant. They don't have eyelids. Oh, come on. This lame-ass comedy routine. I figured I'd throw that in there. Spice it up a little. Why not? After all, this whole thing is anthropomorphicological anyways. No pun intended. Oh, wait a minute. Of course that pun was intended. You do realize I'm lying, don't you? So anyway, finally, the last crew arrives, and we're about to witness the final curtain as all hope fails. Garcetti, Jorgensen, Jenkins, and Shorty. Yeah, even ants have nicknames. And Shorty, even for those itty-bitty little ants, yeah, he's on the short side. And the Sarge pipes up, Garcetti, have you seen my boys? Abernathy, Jones, Williams, Wilson, and Cordova? Puts Garcetti on the spot. Now there's nothing for it. So he lets him have it. Both barrels. Didn't you know, Sarge? Haven't you heard? Scout Team Victor, all of them, were last seen around 09:30 this morning, disappearing into that giant crack in the Great Wall, 5 clicks north of here. You know the one staff sergeant has shoot every ant in this colony. It's the one where none who venture there ever return alive. Just a half a mile north of the border lived a humble gal with tired feet taking orders. Every day of her life passed by in solitude and grace as the sun went down and rose again in that place. Now destiny was playing cards with his buddy Fortune, lost at a hand, exceeding table stakes. And the powers that be cut a deal with Lady Luck and fate, that Fortune must pay every penny that destiny takes. Whoa, the powers that be, they're watching over you and me. Still gotta pick up their sleeve. If we only believe. That very day, a man appeared in the doorway of that little cafe, and she greeted him with courtesy and faith. When he looked in her eyes, he said, "Darling, I've come to take you away from this place." When she asked him his name, he replied, "Just call me Ace." Whoa, the powers that be, they're watching over you and me. Still gotta pick up their sleeve. If we only believe. 20 years have gone by and she has never regretted a second. My, how everything changed from the moment adventure beckoned. Now from dawn until dusk every day, she has everything it takes. And all over the world she is simply known as the Face. Whoa, the powers that be, they're watching over you and me. Still gotta pick up their sleeve. If we only believe. Now in a little cafe, just a half a mile north of the border, at a quiet little table, dusty, darkened corner, face dealing cards, Lady Luck is looking over his shoulder, and Fortune must pay every penny that destiny takes. Yes, Fortune must pay every penny that destiny takes. I drink liquid rust for breakfast. Mix it in with gasoline. And then I chew on old man's bones for lunch, baby. Yeah, I grease them down with Vaseline. And what I eat for dinner, oh, bounces around like a trampoline. I got a junk food diet, baby. Whoa, worst case I've ever seen. Yeah, it's worse than sugar, baby. It's worse than caffeine. It's even worse than smoking, baby. 10 times worse than nicotine. It's those polytriglycerides and that BHT. I got a junk food diet, baby. Whoa, worst case I've ever seen. I tried to kick it more than once or twice, baby. I just could not get free. And then I had me a blood sugar crisis, baby. In the end, it nearly took me. Then came my hour of decision. I had them junk food diet, heebie-weebie, heebie-jeebies. Oh yeah, I got a junk food diet, baby. Oh, worst case I've ever seen. Oh yeah. Now, I forgot to mention, Lois and I broke up shortly after that itty-bitty little ant incident, or episode, or whatever you want to call it. As heartfelt soulmates sometimes do. Last I heard, she was dating some guy who was trying to save the whales, which makes more sense. No, I'm only kidding. Me, I keep writing fiction which portrays the truth about human nature. Film scripts, cartoon scripts, comedy routine short stories, and the music that goes along with them. Right now I'm working on a film script about a private eye. Gets hired by a jealous wife who suspects her university professor husband is having an affair. Turns out, now he's a history professor at a local university, and it turns out he's tracked down the whereabouts of all of the gold in ancient Jerusalem from when the Romans sacked the city in 70 AD. Rightly, Jesus of Nazareth predicted that they will not leave one stone on top of another, and this kind of reveals why. Think of it. A solid cube of pure gold, 150 by 150 by just under 9 stories high. The calculus, a bit more than 23,000 metric tons of it. And this professor gets mixed up with some of the most evil men on the planet. Now, the little undergraduate who he was seeing a little too much of, she was just curious about all this stuff. She turns out to be nothing. But this privatized investigation and what the movie is all about is a peep show into some of the most grotesquely nefarious characters you'll ever want to meet, ever, on planet Earth. The adventure ends with our hero faking his own death by way of escape, and he slithers into this sleazeball joint halfway around the world, all disheveled and looking like hell because he's just been through it. So much so that the bartender leans across the bar and says, "So what's your story, fella?" To which he replies, "I'm not sure if I believe in God or not, but I sure as hell believe in the devil." Roll credits. I got one more for you. Oh, come on. Whenever I sing, and I sing a lot, I give it all I got till, I give it all I got till, I give it all I got. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, come on. And whenever I'm walking downtown, I make sure that I really strut. I give it on my toe heels, I give it on my ankle, so when I strut, I really strut. What's that I hear all the people say? It must be they're having a very bad hair day. Can they light up a little? Will they sweet up a little? And let me go my merry way. I really get up out there, sweep on the heat and whirl it through the air, and I make sure that she's breathless whenever I take her back to her chair. Yeah, yeah. Whenever I sing, and I sing a lot, I give it all I got till, I give it all I got till, I give it all I've got.